Hello, everyone. It's Shane Conto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to the Wasteland Vintage Roadshow here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network. And this is my monthly podcast where each month I keep going down my list of my favorite movies. And you know what? This is not a film review. This is just me and my guest gushing over why we love this film. And this is a special one because honestly, this is probably one of, if not the film that I've watched the most in like the past 10 years, because I watch it at least every year, at least once, maybe twice, depending on the season and the holiday. But this is The Nightmare Before Christmas, and joining me is my brother Ethan. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I know technically this is not directed by Tim Burton, but this obviously was conceived by Tim Burton. He was very hands-on while he was directing Batman Returns. And so we're going to start off with a couple of broader topics related. And I know the biggest Tim Burton fan in my life is my brother Ethan, which is why I thought it would be fun having him on here. But Ethan, what do you love most about Tim Burton?
Um, Probably the uh inspiration that he gets from noir films.
Mm-hmm.
I just like he makes perfect rainy day movies
Mm-hmm.
that you
It's a
can also
mood.
watch any other time. But it's whenever you got have a thunderstorm or something or it's like late at night, it's just the ambiance of his films is just it's a perfect recipe for viewing it. It's just the world that he like puts together in whatever film he is doing. It's incredibly unique. There's nothing like it. And it's a short escape from reality, I guess, is probably one of the best parts about watching his films.
Yeah, because he was obviously heavily influenced by German expressionism, like the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Just ask Nick Cage. Um, seen the unbearable weight of massive talent. But obviously Tim Burton was heavily influenced by that and Metropolis from Fritz Lang and so many films from that like 20s era German cinema. And then of course noir as well. Like if you watch the first Batman movie in 89, like that's noir up and down. Like
It's the
this is
best
like you see I'm I've been I'm partial to Batman Returns, honestly, out of the two of them. That one still has some of the noir feel, but then goes full blown like German expressionism, even to the point where Christopher Walken's character Max Schreck is named after the actor who played Nosferatu. So like little details like that.
Learn
And
something
also
new.
and Christopher Walken's look in that is 100% influenced by Rotwang, the mad scientist from Metropolis with that crazy ass hair that he has and everything. So it's really cool watching a lot of those old 20s German films and just realizing like Tim Burton had a vibe when he was growing up. And then also like he was heavily influenced by all those like campy 50s sci-fi movies and stuff, which is why he made Ed Wood, why he made Mars Attacks and stuff like that. And just stuff like that. And I guess Ethan, do you do you have a specific favorite Tim Burton movie?
It's a difficult one.
I can imagine there's a couple of them up there that it's a close one. I know Edward Scissorhands
Hmm.
probably, Beetlejuice.
I'm gonna have to say, even though Batman is my favorite superhero of all time, it's probably still gonna be Edward Scissorhands. Also, obviously for I mean, it's not obvious for everybody else,
Mm,
but I mean,
yeah.
Johnny Depp's in it. So
Yep.
I mean, there you go
Johnny
with
Depp
that one.
Batman. Imagine it.
That would have been amazing, but it didn't
I
happen.
could totally have imagined if Tim Burton made the third one and he needed a Riddler and he cast Johnny Depp as the Riddler. I could totally have seen that.
That would have
Um, that would have been really
been.
cool. That actually would have been really cool. Now I think about that. Jim Carrey was a lot of fun for what he was, but like he wasn't really the Riddler. He was just acting like the Joker all over again, but just in a green leotard. But whatever. We're not here to talk about that. Edwards, and the cool thing is the design of Edward Scissorhands is based off of the killer in the cabinet of Dr. Caligari, like his whole black outfit and everything and his makeup. And then I think it was the last movie role of Vincent Price playing his father, the inventor,
Hmm.
and just Vincent Price. The only missing thing was that Vincent Price like barely said anything, if he did at all. But just that film, it's such a fun mixture of his love of German expressionism and like 50s
Hmm.
aesthetics, because like the whole entire town is like that
Oh my God.
aggressively 50s like suburb feel, and like the cast, Winona Ryder and Alan Arkin being the dad. Love Alan
Yeah.
Arkin.
And
um
I completely forgot about that, even though I didn't. It just,
mhm.
yeah.
And I think my favorite is probably Ed Wood. And because like I love the whole like movie about making movies. I think Johnny Depp is so endearing as Ed Wood Jr., as this guy who loves movies so much that it blinds him from the fact that he has no idea how to make a movie. uh and like Martin Landau as Bela Lugosi is so good in that, and just the whole entire cast from like Bill Murray and Jeffrey Jones, even though Jeffrey Jones is a disgusting piece of crap, but he was great in a lot of Tim Burton movies. um Definitely why he did not come back for Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. But Ed Wood is one that just really strikes a chord with me. It really captures that vibe. Like, there's even that scene where Vincent D'Onofrio plays Orson Welles at the end and is giving Ed Wood advice, and he's just like, "The studio's making me cast Charlton Heston as a Mexican." Uh, and which is true, because in Touch of Evil, Charlton Heston is a Mexican. He has a mustache and they tanned his skin. And I'm like, damn. Oh, what a time that was making movies. But I really love Ed Wood, but you can't argue with like Edward Scissorhand and Beetlejuice being up there. Big Fish is another one that really strikes a chord with me. That's the one that probably gets me the most emotional out of all of his movies. But he brings such a vibe. Like stuff like Sleepy Hollow is so much fun. And Mars Attacks is a crazy hot mess, but it's so much fun.
I
That's Tom
remember that,
Jones in it.
that the memories we had with that, with Chris and Mike watching that
Yeah, watching that with our
regularly.
cousins for
Yeah.
sure. And then thinking about stop motion, which Tim Burton has directed himself some stop motion with like Frankenweenie and Corpse Bride that he took the reins on. But I love stop motion. I think it's one of the coolest mediums for making movies because it's so creative. And also, like, you have to have a lot of patience. And it's so meticulous.
Mhm.
Trying to put that all together, which is why this movie's only an hour and 15 minutes. But Ethan, do you have particular stop motion movies that you love?
I feel like we might have at least one of them on there, being the same one. James and the Giant Peach.
So good. Also, Henry Selick. That's how he followed up this movie
Yeah,
with
I'm pretty sure, like, we wore that one out. I think we had it on VHS.
Yep.
That was one of the ones that we wore
I
out.
still have
Um,
I have the same DVD since when we originally bought it.
Heck yeah. And then it's a new one. What the heck's that called? This isn't good. Um,
What's it
I'm gonna
about?
let you talk and see if I can think. It's like think it might have taken place in like Halloween, and like the whole town goes like crazy. He has these
Paranorman.
Paranorman, yeah,
I love
Paranorman,
Paranorman.
so good, such a
So
good movie.
just in general, if it's made by Leica, that animation studio, it's pretty great.
It's
Or
beautiful looking too.
Coraline and Paranorman are so good. Paranorman with like the kid who could see dead people,
Yeah,
and then
that.
the whole
Yeah.
zombies rise up, and it's about like a little girl who was uh like this movie goes dark. Like a little girl was killed during the Salem witch trials, and like cursed this town. And just like, damn, movie going dark here. Which is interesting because the follow up to Paranorman, was this the follow up? I think Kubo and the Two Strings is one of my favorite animated movies, period, and such an amazing stop motion movie set in Japan. Matthew McConaughey and Charlize Theron are both in it.
That was
Ray
a good one too.
Fiennes plays the Moon King, and Rooney Mara plays these twin sisters that are so creepy, so creepy. And like that movie has amazing action with the sword, like the sword fights and everything. And I'm a huge fan of Fantastic Mr. Fox, of
How
course.
did I forget about that? We just talked about that.
Yep. And the because of Henry Selick, who made Nightmare Before Christmas, was a consultant on Life Aquatic with all the underwater stop motion stuff for Wes Anderson. And then Wes Anderson went off on his own and directed Fantastic Mr. Fox. But there's so many great stop motion films, like even like the Rankin Bass, like all the old holiday specials with like Rudolph and The Year Without a Santa and all those stop motion films, which obviously aren't as detailed, but they're nostalgic, have a good place. But let's get started talking about The Nightmare Before Christmas. And this film came out in 1993, was technically a Disney movie. But they're like, this is too dark, and they put it through Touchstone Pictures, and then it became famous and made a bunch of money. And they're like, well, it is a Disney movie. And then started putting Disney stuff in front of it. And it's on Disney Plus.
So
Direct,
Disney.
yep, directed by Henry Selick. So starring Chris Sarandon as Jack Skellington, and then Danny Elfman doing the singing voice of Jack Skellington. Chris Sarandon, famous as Prince Humperdinck in The Princess Bride. And then you have Catherine O'Hara, Glenn Shaddix as the mayor, Paul Rubens in there, Ken Page as Oogie Boogie. And I think the best place to start is the music, because this
Uh-huh.
movie is just nonstop bangers. In the words of Seamus, banger after banger after banger. Because like everything's great. Like the whole entire opening number, This Is Halloween, is so iconic at this point. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I feel like the score, the soundtrack to that. I mean, it's so good that they did a reimagining of it with a bunch of old
Yeah.
like pop punk.
They have the
Like,
Panic at the Disco version of This Is
mhm.
Halloween, and then the Marilyn Manson version of This Is Halloween. Which I like the Marilyn Manson version better than the Panic at the Disco version. But what's so much fun about the opening number is that it gets the whole entire town involved in all the different voices, and everybody scream, that like really big creepy tree. And then of course you get your first taste of Oogie Boogie. I'm the shadow with the moon at night, and like all those little pieces all building up to like it comes to such a great crescendo with them lighting Jack on fire and him like jumping out into the fountain and everything. It's just such a fun number, and there's so much personality in it. And like if you don't listen to that around Halloween, I don't know what to tell you. Like you're missing out. This is
Mhm.
just that fun. And then you have Jack's Lament, where like he's doing Shakespearean quotations, And he has that whole entire thing where he's like walking through the graveyard, basically being like so bored and unenthused about life, and just having this whole entire like heart to heart to himself out loud for the audience and for Sally, who was eavesdropping. But that whole entire like, because Danny Elfman is so good in the singing role of Jack Skellington here, and that song's just perfect. Brings all the personality to it. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I think my favorite one is still Oogie Boogie.
Well, here's the thing. Um, Oogie Boogie is my favorite Disney villain song because, as we established, this is a Disney song, a Disney movie. And there are tons of great Disney villain songs.
Hmm.
But this one's up there with Be Prepared and
Yeah.
Hellfire from Hunchback of Notre Dame for me. Ken Page nails every single second of this. And like him going back and forth with Santa Claus, like, well, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna do the best I can. And just like him sassing Santa throughout this, and just the burlap sack design of Oogie Boogie, and he has a bunch of bugs inside is so creepy. And just like him dancing around, and this was apparently based off of like an old Cap Calloway um musical number from like an uh old cartoon where he was like the mountain man or something like that, a villain in one of those like old school cartoons that influenced like Cuphead and stuff like that. And like you could definitely tell it's all from the same vibe. um and just Ken Page is so good. You have the song with Catherine O'Hara, Paul Rubens, and who's the other? Oh, it's Danny Elfman. Duh. The three little jerks. Um, that's kidnap
Lock,
Santa
stock, and
Claus,
barrel.
lock, stock, and barrel, and their little creepy song. Of course, what's this? What's this? And also the incredible thing the internet did with that, which is the F. The F.
Leave it to the internet.
Leave it to the internet. But there's just so many great songs, and then even just the music itself in between everything.
Hmm.
Do-do, 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 do-do. And it balances the Halloween vibe and the Christmas vibes so perfectly, which is why this movie works for both. And why you can just watch this twice a year, every single year, once for Halloween and once for Christmas. So
You just save the Halloween parts for Halloween and save the Christmas parts for Christmas.
I feel like I watch this one a lot less at Christmas since, as Ethan can attest, we already have a Christmas tradition for us, which is the Muppet Christmas Carol.
It's the
So,
best tradition of all time.
which I'm pretty sure that and this are these two and Shrek are the movies that I've watched the most in the last 10 years. Because that's me. So,
Juicy musical numbers.
yep. And it's just the music in this is so perfect. I guess, who are some of your favorite characters that really stood out to you?
Oogie Boogie is number one.
Yep.
Um, Probably I don't know why, but it was just how neurotic the mayor is.
We both know why we love the mayor, and it's because it's our buddy John John.
Fair. It's fair.
But no, the mayor is a lot of fun, and he is very neurotic and nervous about. It's just like, where's Jack? It's like, dude, you got like 360 days until Halloween. You gotta like calm down, man. Like you can't get away for one night. Um, he's the least. He is the least qualified, and well, I'm thinking how I'm trying to phrase this. Like he is mayor in title only. This man has no authority. This man has no power outside of Jack. Jack rules this town. And it's just like, why is Jack Skellington not the mayor of this town?
It's the Wizard of Oz.
It is that vibe. Like the wizard has no power at all. He's just like, um, the mayor is so much fun. I love Jack. Like it's hard not to like
Yeah.
every time Jack breaks into song, like Danny Elfman's personality just like shines through. I'm trying to like thinking about some of the other like random creatures in the Halloween town. I'm trying to think of some of the ones that I really like. I like love the design of the one that has like a snake head and snake fingers and
Hmm.
lives under like it's such a creepy looking thing. Um the I love the vampires like of all different shapes. They're so much fun. The band
Hmm.
they're all like grotesque. They all look like the shrunken head guys from Beetlejuice.
They do. They
Yeah,
do.
they're so much fun. And it's the thing, like this movie, they have a lot of fun with the creativity. Like every single character stands out in some way. Obviously, I love the Wolfman too, because
Yeah,
I am one.
I was gonna say the Wolfman.
The creep,
He's an unsung hero in it.
yep, the creepy clown. Um, that
Oh
looks
yeah,
like to be Sweet Tooth's cousin.
he
Um,
looks like he's straight up out of Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
you know what? Wouldn't be surprised if it was an influence, to be honest. It's just there's so many fun characters, and the voice performance is like I kept obviously kept bringing up. I think one, Danny Elfman's singing is so good, but two, I think Chris Sarandon does a great job voicing Jack too, to the point where I didn't even realize that they were two different people, for like
Yeah, I didn't know that.
years. Apparently Danny Elfman was gonna do the voice, but then I don't know if it was like Disney didn't like his like voice acting. So like they got Chris Sarandon to come in and do it instead. I'm like, because like I've heard Danny Elfman read Jack's lines as just like Jack talking and stuff like that. And like, I don't know why they didn't just keep it. Catherine O'Hara is so interesting because she does this dual role of Sally, is so sweet and empathetic and caring, and then she's one of the little shits. Um, the little witch one.
I had no clue that was her.
Yeah.
No
Um,
clue.
Ken Page is just amazing as Oogie Boogie. I've watched him do this live, and he's so good. Glenn Shaddix, who unsung hero of Tim Burton movies, because he's the designer friend from Beetlejuice. Um, it just as the mayor is so much fun. Because he fully commits to the bit. Um, the actor who voices the Harlequin demon, his name's Greg Proops. Proops. Interesting. But William Hickey, Dr. Finkelstein. He got out again.
Freaking creepy as shit.
He is so creepy. And William Hickey does such a great job of like that's the thing. All of these characters have like if you were gonna tell me what does this thing look like it sounds like, they nailed it. Like 100%. All the voices and everything.
He's like the typical "get off my lawn."
I just like uh he is such a abusive, controlling father, and Sally's like, I'm just gonna yeet myself out of this tower to get out of here.
Yeah,
Which
she's like,
she
"I'm
could do
out."
it because she's a corpse and she could just put like thread herself back together.
She's like, "I'm not worried about it."
Yeah, she's not worried about it. She has other things to worry about, like Jack. Um, Jack does not give Sally the time of day, and Sally would do anything for Jack. Um, it's probably one of my biggest criticisms of the movie. It's like, dude, Sally, you deserve better. Jack does not even get you. Um, and then you have the production design. I know my favorite a piece of production design in this is Oogie Boogie's lair with all
Mhm.
of like the gunslingers and the cards and the whole spinning thing where him and Jack have their final confrontation. It's so cool and detailed, the lighting, all the gambling motifs everywhere.
Yeah, he's got a whole. It's a whole like that whole thing is just like a giant roulette room
Yeah,
and Russian roulette at the same time.
100% because you better watch out. You have I love I love the even just like the forest, like how they design all the trees around each other works so perfectly. The little design doors on each of the trees. Um, Christmas Town is so charming. It looks like it's like ripped right out of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and stuff like that. And the whole Halloween town is so creepy and eerie and macabre. It's
I want to
just
live there. Vacation there at least.
yeah. And then thinking about like, do you think this is more of a Halloween or more of a Christmas movie?
It's a Halloween movie.
I feel like obviously he's trying to like steal Christmas, but like at the heart of this, Jack is still a Halloween. He's the Pumpkin King. Like this is definitely a Halloween movie through and
Yeah.
through. And like I think it works as a Christmas movie too. And I think the spirit of Christmas inspires Jack for sure. But like aesthetically, from top to bottom, this is all Halloween. And just ask Hot Topic.
The
It's
what?
like just ask Hot Topic. It's
Fair.
like I feel like the themes that have made Hot Topic the most money and
Hmm.
still do is definitely The Nightmare Before Christmas.
I see no lies.
It's just like they've been running high off of this for like literally 30 years. Well, as long as Hot Topic's been around. I don't know how long Hot
They've been
Topic's been.
around basically. Yeah, I
Well,
might even be before that.
this is probably their identity. Like The Nightmare Before Christmas is Hot Topic's identity and has been for 30 years. So there you go. It's that impactful and has that much influence. Um, and then I thought this would be a fun way to wrap up our discussion. Is what holiday would you want to see highlighted in a sequel to this? So obviously you still have Halloween Town, but then
Mm.
instead of Christmas, which one do you want to see them do?
I Thanksgiving because I want to see him scare the living shit out of like it would go back to like the origin of it and
Yep.
scare the shit out of everybody.
Well, how I would imagine it happening is it scares the shit out of the pilgrims, and the Native Americans are like, peace, bye.
They're like, nope.
We're not messing with this. And it's hell out of there.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one.
Well, and you know what? It would follow in the same vein as the Adams Family. Because
True.
Adams Family Values turns is a Thanksgiving movie, which is
Hmm.
so funny. And like completely turn that twisted. And I think that would be a lot of fun. Um, I would because there's only so many like big holidays where there's like a cultural identity like Halloween and Christmas to really sink your teeth into. But like,
Festivus.
huh?
Festivus.
I would I you know what? I want to see this is unhinged, but I think this would be hilarious. It's Columbus Day, and he meets a bunch of Italian people celebrating Columbus Day. And then it's Halloween Town versus the mob. Because they started Columbus Day. I don't know what to tell you.
You can do that.
It's
Yeah,
either
they
that
got
or
their
I think
own.
the 4th of July. Yeah. Like they meet in like it's like 1776.
It's like, what is this?
The
What is
founding
this? Bombs
fathers.
everywhere.
Yeah. It's like I feel like Thanksgiving and Easter are like the two other ones that I feel like, or well, and St. Patrick's Day, and they beat a bunch. Oh my God,
Hang
St.
out with
Patrick's Day,
leprechauns.
they gotta have leprechauns, banshee. This is just Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
And
It's like,
leprechaun at the same time.
oh my God,
Just do it.
they have they have King Brian and Warwick Davis. Oh, God. I swear though, if they did a crossover with St. Patrick's Day, they would have to have the Banshee from Darby O'Gill and the Little People, and the Banshee would join forces with Halloween Town.
Dude.
Oh, so like this must not have been like the hugest of hits upon release because I cannot imagine that they would not find a way to make a sequel to this.
Yeah, I
Because like,
feel it's one of those that wasn't massively popular at the beginning, but it just became like a cult classic. Not just like, I guess you can't really call it a cult classic because how many people love it, but it's like
well, to be fair,
new
I think it still
generation.
is.
Yeah,
Well, and like I think it obviously started as a cult classic because all those Hot Topic kids
fair.
um, all obsessed about this, and then when Disney realized that they had potential, then they just like hoarded out like crazy, and
It's timeless.
yeah,
There's
and
there's no referencing to like really anything. The music, it's a musical. Like it's kind of the same throughout the years, throughout films and musicals and whatnot. But really, it's just new generations picking that up. Like, like the boys, like, after it kind of, they're not afraid of it anymore. But
there's definitely going to be that. You
yeah,
gotta. There's some creepy stuff in this.
yeah, it's just generation after generation coming out and seeing that for the first time and it regaining more popularity and
Mhm.
whatnot. That's why Hot Topic is,
Still going.
Yep.
It's a mall store, and malls are all dying, but Hot Topic lives on, and
Thank
Spencer.
you.
But like Spencer's has some extra stuff, in the back. But but Ethan, thank you so much for coming on and chatting about The Nightmare Before Christmas.
I had a great time.
And thank all of you for listening. Make sure to like, comment, and share on this episode. Is The Nightmare Before Christmas one of your either Halloween or Christmas festivities and or both? And also let us know what some of your favorite Tim Burton movies are. And make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. The SPM Crew Podcasting Network is ever expanding to the point where I'm having trouble keeping up with all these shows. But, if you're interested in joining the crew, either starting your own show or being a guest on one of our shows, make sure to email us and let us know. And if you like our logo, for this one, this was my buddy Joe. So, giving Joe a shout out for his great work. This is honestly my favorite logo that I have for any of my shows. Myself, the Wasteland reviewer, sitting up in a car, looking at a giant screen in the middle of the desert in a drive-in theater and just saying Vintage Roadshow. Perfect. And Joe has an Etsy store, so if you want to go check it out, make sure to leave a link available. But most importantly, thank you as always for tuning in and supporting the Wasteland Vintage Roadshow here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network.